What's poppin', y'all? A lot of y'all Drake fans owe Joe Budden a thank you. Not only a thank you, but also an apology. Because if you guys remember, Drake dropped For All the Dogs. Joe Budden kind of dunked on it. A bunch of people were like, this isn't really that great. Me personally, I think I did speak on it in another video. And my thoughts were, I think like tracks 9 through 19, it was good, or 9 through 18. But like the first couple of tracks were okay. First Person Shooter was great. I really didn't like the Yeet song too much. And like the last couple of tracks, I didn't really mess with either. As an album as a whole, I felt like it could have been way better if a lot of tracks were done away with. However, Drake was saying that he was going to take a break after he dropped this album. And well, he didn't take a break. He's also going on tour again with J. Cole this time to kind of like these tier 2 cities, which is very, very interesting. After Drake just did a massive tour with 21 Savage. I don't know if they're going to have a European leg or like turn it into a world tour. That's something that I would have liked to see out of those two. But perhaps that's something in the cards for next year. We don't know. But Drake drops Scary Hours, the For All the Dogs edition. It's basically a deluxe. The first time we've ever seen Drake drop a deluxe. And this was hard. Not going to lie. He's spitting on here. It's good music. But, and this isn't a criticism, I think it's kind of like more empathetic towards Drake. I don't think he wanted to do this when he first released For All the Dogs. I think this is something that came out of him or was born out of him from people like Joe Budden that were kind of knocking him and like, yo, what are you doing? And I think he just couldn't leave. It's, you know how like someone's playing a video game or something and it's like late and they've been playing for a minute and they want to get off the game. They're not even enjoying it. But they're like, nah, I can't leave on an L. I got to catch at least a W before I go to bed or before I get off. And then, you know, they probably keep catching L's or maybe they eventually catch a W and they get off. I feel like that's the case with Drake right now. I think he thought that this album was going to be received way differently than it actually was. And a bunch of people were criticizing it. And the way I wouldn't say lashed out because that's not an accurate representation of what he said. But the way he went in on Joe Budden in that long post, basically calling him a failure, and the way he's kind of replied to the criticisms of this album, which is something that we've never seen him do ever. The last time he got it like this was, actually, I think it was more Split in Honestly Nevermind. I think that was the first level where the delusion of Drake fans was being tested. Now it's kind of been broken down, so they're a little bit more fair. The average and casual Drake fan I'm talking about. But the reason why I kind of feel bad for Drake when it comes to this Scary Hours thing that he just dropped is, number one, his image is everything and his perception is everything. And I believe 100% he wants to be respected and hailed as the greatest. That's why this guy puts blood, sweat, and tears into this game. Like, let's not get it twisted. Drake's been here for 15 years? I mean, well, doing it for 15 years. He's consistently released. We've never seen no 3, 4, 5 year gap from Drake dropping music like we have from A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar, and a host of other artists. And that's potentially a reason for why he's also been at the top, but he's also catered and paid attention to what's been going on, not in the streets, but what's been going on with the youth. And he's tapped in with so many different people. He's been early to a bunch of people. He showed love to a bunch of people. He's got his ear to the streets. He's a perfect example of someone that's a star, but isn't lost. A lot of these artists, they blow up and then they just live in their own little world, like Lil TJ as an example. Or, no, I wouldn't say Polo G, but Lil TJ as an example. And then 2 years pass and they're like, yo, what's going on? Who's lit now? Why are people listening to this music? But Drake, who's at the top and had more hits than all of these people, has never let that happen to him. And I do think when you're making music like this, like for example, the Scary Hours thing, for Drake, to me, it feels like he can do this any day of the week, every day of the week, and can consistently release music like this. But I don't think he wants to, because think about it, man, he's been rapping like this and been demonstrating that he can rap like this for well over a decade. So I think for him, he's just like, yo, I'm just trying to do some new stuff. And he feels like he's in these shackles, kind of like these golden shackles where it's like, no, you must drop this that we as kind of like your old fans, I guess you could say, mess with, or we're going to, knock your album and it's going to make you look like you fell off or you're not doing as well. Now, commercially, obviously, he can't fall off. Even with sales declining, that's just a normal thing that's across the entire industry. And even then, he's smashing it with sales. Pause. So for Drake, I think he wants to experiment more because this guy, he loves the craft, and I think he's just mastered making these types of songs that are on Scary Hours, and he wants to do something new like he tried with Honestly Nevermind. And even though I did say that thing was a steaming hot pile of garbage, and Ye is the GOAT because, or Ye is better than Drake, and he is the GOAT, because he's able to take these new sounds and new styles and make them sound good and make people appreciate them. Granted, he did that way earlier in his career when there's more malleability to people's perception of you, whereas Drake was kind of consistent for such a long time that people come to expect a certain thing from him, and when he deviates from it, he doesn't get the, I guess, acceptance or the flexibility that's awarded to other people, like Kanye West, for example. The same thing with Kendrick Lamar. And when Kendrick Lamar is working with Baby Keem, a lot of people were kind of like looking at it sideways, like the Family Ties song. There was another song that he did with Baby Keem. Now, granted, that ended up becoming a hit. But if Kendrick Lamar was dropping music like that by himself, they'd look at him way different, like, yo, what is this guy doing? He's falling off. He disappeared for 5 years and then came back. And then this is the type of music he's dropping. What's going on? So Drake is in this interesting, where he's, and I love this phrase, bro, suffering from success, where I think he's got a bunch of music that he's recorded that if it's dropped, people would kind of knock on it. And it's a difficult position to be in, but it's also blessed because you got to look at it where Drake is like, yo, I need to consistently, the way to generationally stay poppin' and stay lit is to consistently make music that not only appeals to the newer audience, but also holds down your older audience, because you can't abandon one and then hop on the other. And that's something that Ye has been able to do incredibly well. There are so many young people like 16, 17, 18, 16 to 24 really, or even younger, like I'll say like 16 to 20, that really mess with Kanye West and he's their favorite artist. Now, how many from 16 to 20 would say Drake is their favorite artist? I don't know how many. So if you're between that age group, which so few of the people that watch me are even in that age group, let me know who's closer to being one of your favorite artists, Ye or Drake. I kind of want to get a sample size on that. If you're older than that, please don't submit to this comment poll, I guess we could call it. And to do that, you constantly need to be not reinventing yourself, but yeah, I would say like reinventing your music or tapping into different sounds that the youth is messing with. And I think he did that with the Yeet song, but that's just a personal thing. I didn't really like it. I think the older audience messed with it too, because he added like an element of Drake to it, kind of like the sample in the beginning, the way he raps on it. It's not old Drake. It's kind of like this new style, but it's something that people are willing to get behind even after seeing Yeet. And I think it did a solid for Yeet in the sense that these people that were never going to listen to his music are seeing him on a Drake song and might be like, okay, this guy's worth checking out. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. What is your reasoning, or what do you believe is the reasoning for Drake coming out of this break and dropping something within, has it even been like a month? And then he just dropping something new and then going on tour again. Do you think he's scared that if he disappears for a year that he would be forgotten? And if Drake isn't, this is kind of going devil's advocate against a statement I made earlier in this video. If Drake disappeared for 2 years, like Kendrick did, would people be really, really excited? Or would people kind of forget about him? And he wasn't teasing anything. Keep in mind, he's not saying like, for example, like views, he was kind of gone for, not gone, but he was teasing a bunch of stuff. He was like, yo, views soon, views. So it's always on the front of your mind that something's coming. If Drake just chilled with nothing on the way for 18 months plus, do you think his hype would die out? And if you do think his hype would die out, does that mean he's as influential or strong in the game as we like to compare him to with people like J. Cole, Kendrick, and Kanye West, and even Jay-Z? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.